Hello, hello and good morning. Today I'm doing an experimental video really. It's a very grey day. It's the greyest day since I've been here. There is no blue in the sky, there are no white clouds. Just a monochrome, just a grey. That's all it is, just a grey. Looking out the window and looking at the trees, particularly the trees further away, because it's a drizzly day, it's putting a grey slant on the green. So even the trees are grey, everything's, you know, grey is not the best colour in the world, is it? Can't be. But yeah, it's very, very grey. So I thought I would make a bit of an experimental video and just see how we get on really. This is a video with no thoughts. I've got no thoughts in mind at all. I've just decided to do this. I've made myself a Slurpee and I was going to do a couple of little things today, and I thought, I wonder if I could just make a video where I just talk, just see what flows. If anything, it could be a very short video and it could be a very long video. We'll wait and see. But whatever. So I've turned the camera on and I'm looking out and I'm thinking grey. That's the only thought I have in my head. Grey. And it is. The sky is grey, the trees are grey, the path is grey. It's been raining. I think it's been gentle rain. But obviously it makes the paths much darker, so they're very grey. Everything I'm looking at is kind of grey. The only thing of colour is me in this world of greyness. When you get a grey day, you've got to let the sun shine from within, haven't you, really? You know, you can still be perfectly happy and whatever you are, even on a grey day. It doesn't matter about outside things, you know. Happiness is an internal thing, isn't it? When we rely too much on external things to make us happy, then, you know, you're asking for trouble there really, because then you keep seeking the external again and again and again, and your happiness is very reliant on outside influences. But you can be perfectly happy within yourself. You know, so I think I'm quite happy today, quite bubbly. It's a grey day. We're not going out under this heavy sky. We're not going out in the drizzle. We're comfortable, we're warm, we're perfectly fine. So we're happy, and probably I'm happy that I don't have to go out in this weather. It's just that drizzle, it's just the... It's not even rain, but it gets you wet, and it gets you very, very wet. And it's more mist in the air than drizzle, really. So we're happy to have a day doing our own thing. I've got no work on today. That makes me happy because I can do those other things that I was going to mention. It's only little things. I had a big salad last night, and I haven't washed up. I've been lazy. So I've got a couple of jugs. I did some eggs in one and some potatoes, new potatoes in the other. I added salad cream and chopped them all up. So there's 2 jugs there to be done. There's a saucepan that I boiled the eggs in and smashed the eggshells off. So that needs sorting out. Couple of plates, couple of bits and bobs, knives and forks, whatever. But it was lovely. Absolutely lovely to have a nice salad. It's a funny thing, one of the things I love on a salad is cucumber, and I remember as a child I never liked it at all because of the water. That's what it is, a cucumber. It's full of water and I love it. Keep my cucumber in the fridge so it's cold water as well. I do the same with melon. Melon's only water as far as I'm concerned. Slightly sweetened water. Anyway, so cheers. So what is it that makes me happy? on a day like this? Well, like I say, we don't have to go out. Got no work on. I've got a relaxed day. All those sort of things make me happy, really. I'm not up against the clock. Nobody's got vying for my attention. I haven't got to be anywhere. I haven't got to go out anywhere. My cupboards are well stocked food-wise. There's not a lot I can think of that I would like or need. So it's going to be a nice day that we choose what to do with it, whether it be music or art or reading or taking a nap, going for a bimble a bit later if it dries up, whatever. It's a day of my choosing, a day of our choosing, because Bodhi always has a choice. So yeah, it's just a day of choosing, which really is freedom. So happiness for me is freedom. It's a freedom to choose if and when I do this, where I go, how long for, do I do a piece of art, or shall I do a piece of background, or it's a day of freedom, day of choice. That's happy, isn't it? It must be happy, surely. This makes me happy. What a punchy colour, what a craziness. So I finished that yesterday, and I've shown you this one. This was, excuse me, this is what I did a couple of days prior to that one. Quite a difference, isn't there, really, between these two? What a difference. My art makes me happy. It's always made me happy. When I'm doing my art, I am in a happy, very relaxed, happy place. I wouldn't do my art if I've got some sort of troubles in my mind or whatever, then I wouldn't be doing my art. Wouldn't do it. I only do my art really when I'm in a happy place, when I'm ready for it, really, and it just makes me happy. And often I do my art listening to music sometimes, or an audio book sometimes, or I just got a YouTube video on sometimes. Lots of different stuff in the background that I can have. I listen to a lot of, when I'm doing my art, I listen to a lot of Leonard Cohen, Krishna Das, Cigarettes After Sex is my new, I got 2 albums by them. I listen to that. So it's quite gentle, quite peaceful music, but that is happiness to me, to listen to gentle, peaceful, calm music. That promotes within a happiness for me. So yeah, I put happiness on happiness. I just said about fleeting happiness. You know, fleeting happiness is you buy something online or in a shop. You go there to a shop, you choose an item, you come back and you're quite happy with it. You've enjoyed going to the shop, you've enjoyed choosing that item. You then wear the item, eat the item, whatever you bought, you know, and that's quite happy. But then it's gone and forgotten, isn't it then? So that's very fleeting. Or of course you do it online, so you go and buy something online, and it could be whatever, a t-shirt or a CD, and that arrives a couple of days later and boosts your happiness because you felt happy buying it. Now you feel happy that the postman's delivered it, and you pop it on, you wear it, or you play it or whatever, and a few days later, not even a few days, it can be an hour later, but the happiness that you're now feeling because you got it, it kind of goes down, and you're then looking for the next thing, the next outside thing to bring you happiness. With my art, it's a different thing altogether because I plan roughly what I want to do. I pick and choose the colours and I think about it. I'm quite happy. I'm doodling away. There's a lot of sort of, not a lot, but there's some prep work that I do. And then I've got to do the background. I'm quite happy doing that. If my hands have got paint on, I'm happy. So yeah, and it's true. It is true. If I've got a pen in my hand, I'm happy. If I'm doodling away, drawing, making diagrams, choosing colours, sorting out my paints, getting my brushes ready, getting my paints ready, all of that is great. All of that is happiness as far as I'm concerned. Then I do the work, and it might take a long, long time. That one, for instance, I worked on that on the Saturday. I'm not sure how many hours really, but I also worked Sunday, and then I finished it off on the Monday, so it took a while. But all of that time I was happy. Then I'll be happy taking photos of it. That just makes me happy. It's going to make me happy to share it. It will go onto my eBay. Hopefully somebody will buy it, and that'll make me happy. When somebody sends me some feedback to say, oh, this is better in real life or whatever, that makes me happy. Sometimes somebody will take a photo of it where it's going to live in their lounge or bedroom or yoga studio, whatever. That makes me happy. So I keep getting these little bursts of happiness. And then a year later, Facebook will say you have a memory from today. I click on it and it might be that painting. I think, oh yeah. I remember where I was, how I felt, who bought it, things like that. And then somebody may say, hi Bright, do you remember me? A year ago or 2 years ago, I bought blah, blah, blah. And I see you've got a similar one on eBay, so I'm hoping to get that. And we have a little chat, and they tell me where the painting is, or if they gave it to their daughter for Christmas or whatever. And that makes me happy to know that they're still enjoying it. It's living in a place of happiness and a place of peace. So my empty blank canvas became full of colour or whatever, black and white sometimes, and has gone on now across the world for somebody else to enjoy. And 2 or 3 years later, they might take a photo and let me know. And it just keeps the happiness, boom, 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 all the way along. So that's an outside thing really, although I'm producing it from inside. All my art comes from inside. My art is quite spiritual. It's very gentle, it's very peaceful. It comes from within. Of course, all art comes from within. So that makes me happy. To look at them now makes me happy. To think who might buy them. What enjoyment might they get? Who might they give it to? Yeah. And of course the greatest wealth on this planet, greatest wealth is peace of mind, as far as I'm concerned. You can't buy peace of mind from that shop. It's not a fleeting thing. You can't get it from the internet. Peace of mind comes about in many, many different aspects, many different ways. It will come to you. And if you've got a peaceful life and you do peaceful things, and you do happy things, you live a calm existence, then it builds up what I call the bliss, peace of mind. And I say follow my bliss, which really means keep adding to that peace of mind. Follow your bliss. That's what I call it, and that's kind of how I live my life. Go from bliss to bliss to bliss. I don't need all the hassle and silliness of life. I live in a bubble, we know that anyway. Quite reclusive. I pull away from things. At the moment there's still the coronavirus, although that's kind of, I think it's dissipating, isn't it? It's going away, so that's a good thing, and life will slowly get back to normal. But there's lots of different connotations with that, because there's the worry over children going to school, there's the worry over mental illness. Childline, for instance, over this last 9 weeks, they've had 150% increase. 150%. Not 5%, which would be a worrying figure, 150%. So I really, really care and sort of I'm concerned about the children, what they've been through and stuff like that. There's lots of other stuff going on. There's rioting and looting. There's this Black Lives Matters. Now, all of that I just step away from. I really do. I don't go and support Black Lives Matters. As much as I think it's disgusting, the copper murdered a man, in my view. That's what he did, and he should be tried for that. I believe he has, but murder is murder. And regardless of whatever colour the policeman was, whatever colour that poor victim was, it's murder, and they've got to be treated for that. And so does any onlookers, anybody who took the video. I don't know who that was. I presume it was the police, but I think there was police standing by watching. They're all culpable, they're all murderers, and they should be treated as such regardless of colour. So I live in my bubble. As I say, I'm quite reclusive, quite happy to be in my bubble, really. Not a lot of outside influences affect me. I don't really. Sometimes I find things very, very impacting, and kind of wonder how they got through, but they're fairly obvious, really. Do you remember a few years ago now, there was a little boy, I think his name was something like Aylan, A-Y-L-A-N, Aylan, little toddler, and he was face down on the beach. He'd come from one of the refugee boats. I think he was a Syrian boy, and that was so impacting. It was so upsetting for weeks. That was awful. There's certain things that I have to do with my work when I'm dealing with a particular thing, especially when the person's young, and knowing what they've been through. That's very impacting as well. I try not to let things in, but of course I am human. So things do, and things upset me sometimes. But I try to follow my bliss. I try to live in my bubble to the best of my ability. And I enjoy my quiet, reclusive type of a life, you know. And I'm reclusive. I am a social... I'm social when I need to be social, but I've kind of got... What would I call it? I don't know what I would call it. I'm a social introvert. Does that make sense? I can do the social things that you might do. I can do that. I can go to a wedding, a funeral party. I choose not to. But I can do that sort of thing. But then I need to pull away, and really pull away within myself, and take a day or two or 3 or 4, whatever it might be, to regroup, to recharge my batteries, to assimilate all of that stuff that's happened. And I do it even now. I mean, with my work, one thing that I've never mentioned is occasionally, and it's very rare, I have to go to a meeting. So I may have to, as long as it's not too far I can drive, but I may have to catch a train. And I catch a train, I go to a particular place, I might have to go in the lift, say hello to a couple of people, go into a meeting room, there may be 10, 12, 14 people in there. May take a couple of hours, and then we have a drink, and then finish off for another hour, and then I come home, and I want a nap. When I get home, I want to nap, or I want to cuddle my dog. I don't want to do a lot. I certainly don't want to see anybody. And I tend not to have any music on, or even the internet. I turn my phone off completely. And I think it's my way of recharging, because all of that stuff is very, very impacting on me in a way that you wouldn't believe. You know, getting into a lift, seeing the coloured buttons, choosing the correct floor, the feeling of the lift going up, the colour of the light above, walking into an office, the heat or the smell, or seeing cardboard boxes or screens or doors, people dressed up, people walking, smiling, saying hello, the strip lights, all of that stuff. That's even before I get into the bloody meeting room. And I get an overload of all of that stuff, and I don't like it. And I really need, to come back, pull away, and have a day or two of very nearly silence. As I said, I don't put music on, I don't put the internet on, I don't do anything much. Quite happy spending time with my dog. and quite happy doing not a lot else really. But as I say, the greatest wealth that we can ever have is peace of mind. It is following your bliss. It is that bubble of whatever you've created. And I'm not standoffish or anything else, but I prefer to be in my bubble mostly. I love spending time with my friends. I love I love going out sometimes, you know, going to a particular place or whatever. But really for me, as long as there's not many people there, then I'm happier. And I'm far happier in 1s or 2s or 3s than I am in 10s or 20s. I just don't want it, just don't need it. It's not important in my life. So I'm just going to roll a fag. So yeah, so this video, we are just following my thoughts. I'm not even sure what I'm talking about, but we are just following my thoughts. I had nothing in my mind on this grey day. It started off a grey day. Now it's turned into probably what makes me happy, or talking about my art or work or whatever. Excuse me. So today I am just going to go and wash up and tidy up and have a little sort out. I like, if I can, to live fairly clean and tidy. Gets in a pickle sometimes when I can't be bothered to do stuff. Last week it was hot and I really couldn't be bothered, and it needed hoovering up here and a few things, and I really couldn't be bothered. My hip was hurting, so I couldn't be bothered to hoover. And I got in a bit of a pickle with it in the end. And I thought, bloody hell, state of it. If I don't do it, you know, then you got to do it, haven't you? So you kind of force yourself into doing it. Now, when I make a video and I face that way, which I do sometimes, you will see, maybe the end of this week, beginning of next week, who knows, you'll see a beautiful picture of Shiva, Lord Shiva. It's all done in golds, various different golds, and it shimmers and it's absolutely stunning. I could show you now, it's over there, but I'm not gonna. I bought a beautiful frame, absolutely lovely frame. And that's on its way now, the frame. And that's going to make me happy when I get the frame. I got attached to Lord Shiva when I was travelling, and I don't know why really, but I had some experiences that all led me to Shiva over and over and over again. I did a painting of Lord Shiva, which I've kept. I've kept 4 pieces of my art over the years, that's all. And bearing in mind, I often do 2 or 3 or 4 in a week, if I can. But yes, I kept the painting of Lord Shiva because I love it. I absolutely love it. And I've got a few other things connected with Lord Shiva, and I just got this, sometimes you just get connected in whatever way with somebody for some reason or for no reason. And with Lord Shiva, I just got connected in whatever way, and I love the photos of the Adiyogi, you know, the bust that Sadhguru and all that lot built, the huge bust. I absolutely love that. But Shiva is special to me in some way. Lots of people are, and lots of things are. Thich Nhat Hanh, as everybody knows, Buddhist monk. He's not doing very well at the moment, bless him. But he is 91, I believe, and he's had a stroke and he's a bit poorly. But yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We lost Ram Dass not so long back, and Ram Dass, again, is such a wonderful, beautiful human being. He's a beautiful spiritual teacher. When that man spoke, he spoke to my heart, you know, and when he went, it was such a shame. I actually watched a few nights ago a film or documentary, I get there in the end, a program, a film, a documentary, a book. I actually watched a documentary called Ram Dass Going Home, and it was quite touching, I have to say. But Ram Dass always, there was always something, a very deep knowingness with Ram Dass. You know, the fact that he was dying, it didn't matter. The fact that he's not going to be here anymore didn't matter. He was just going home, quite happy to go home. And he'd had a stroke and sadly lost the ability to use his legs, his right arm. His speech went a little bit. But if you listen to him, his brain was still there, even though his delivery wasn't quite there. Ram Dass. So if you want to get into anything whatsoever, I would recommend to everybody Ram Dass. I'd recommend to anybody Thich Nhat Hanh. If you want some music that really fills your soul, get some curtain music. Krishna Das. Absolutely wonderful. And all these things can help. They help in your bubble. They belong in your bubble with you. So you're not alone. You're in your bubble with all these beautiful things. And ultimately you are following your bliss. Because all these things are bliss. So an empty mind gave us whatever it gave us today. I just thought I'd do this just for an experiment, really, just to see if my thoughts flow, and if so, where from, where to. Are they connected in any way? Is there anything linear about them in any way? Does it help me in any way? I like to empty my head. And I hold a lot of stuff in my head, and when I make videos, often I just empty my head. I just release, I just let go, same as I have in this one. And I always feel better for that. I feel lighter, if that makes sense, but lighter on the inside. Certainly not lighter on the outside. I'm about 18 stone, I haven't weighed myself, and I do need to lose some weight, and I've got an exercise bike there. And I found with my ankles and with my hip being a bit poorly sometimes and a bit sore, that I can't do a lot of exercise apart from eating. And it's been so hot that I get very weary, very tired. It's all excuses. You can battle on through anything, can't you, really? But I like to eat. I've always liked to eat. And now I do need to lose a little bit of weight. And that's not on a happiness level. Will it make me any happier? No, not really. I just love to eat. But it will make walking a little bit better, a little bit easier. And it'll just make life in general a little bit easier if I can lose. I'd like to lose a lot of weight. I'd like to lose like 4 stone or 3 stone, maybe 15. If I get, it's about 15 stone, I think I'd be quite happy. Or even 16 stone. I think my ideal weight is probably 14 and a half stone. I think that's my absolutely optimum ideal weight. So one day, if I can get down to that, I'd be quite pleased. But if not, whatever, you know. But I do need to lose some weight, so I need to get on that exercise bike. And on a dull day like this, I could whack some nice music on, open up the windows and doors, and do whatever I can on that bike. What I don't want to do is, I don't know what it is, I haven't got my glasses on. It said like, whatever it said, you've used all the time up or something like that. I don't know. Probably that means we've been chatting for 20 minutes. I say we, you know what I'm like. You know I don't edit videos and we just chat and I'm talking to you now. That's how I like my videos to be. I've always liked that. And I'm aware that people like a shorter video. On average, they reckon YouTube 10 minutes. That's what people like to watch. Sometimes I like to put a video on, like this video. If it wasn't me, I would put this video on and I'd be doing a piece of art or doing whatever I'm doing and just listening to this voice. I don't need to watch, you know, you don't need to watch this particular video. I'm not doing anything, not going anywhere. But yeah, so the time of the video doesn't bother me, not really, not overly interested. And sometimes if it's a really long video, I watch, I think 3 channels, narrowboat channels, and sometimes somebody will do a live, not a live, a real-time video of them just drifting up and down the canal, and it could be an hour long, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And sometimes there I'm doing a piece of art, and when I finish a section I can just turn and look and enjoy the ducks or the clouds or whatever I see on there, and then I go back to my work and I might look up 5 minutes later, or they might say something and I'm sort of half watching, half not, but I'm just listening. And I love videos like that, really. So all this 10-minute rule sort of thing, I don't really follow that. A couple of things I hate about YouTube. Now I'm looking at you now, and I see 90% of videos that people make, they look over there. I watched one this morning and he said hello, and he was chatting and chatting and chatting, and for 40 minutes he was chatting looking over there. And I hate it. I really do. If you're going to talk to somebody, look at them, not look away. I know why it is. It's because they have an iPhone, and I presume they look at that little corner instead of looking at the middle of the iPhone. My advice there, put a dotted Tipp-Ex where you're supposed to look. Have a practice, see what works, and when you're looking at the camera, at the person, because that's what you're doing, dot of Tipp-Ex, and always look at that dot of Tipp-Ex. That's my advice. The other thing that really annoys me, really and truly annoys me, I've stopped watching maybe 3 or 4 or more channels that cut all the time. I was watching one the other day. I'm still subbed to this channel, so I'm still watching him. But there's this guy, he just does lots of weird things and what have you. I mean, it doesn't matter what he does. But he cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts. And he can say, hello everybody, I hope you're well. Well, there were 4 cuts there. Because they say, hello everybody, and then they cut, missed something out, and then he says, I hope everybody's, and then they cut something out and they say, well, and it's cut like that, and thousands of cuts. Now he said in this particular video that I watched, he said he was up from midnight till 3 AM editing the video. And what he means is cutting out breaths, cutting out a pause, cutting out a comma. When do you speak to somebody like that in real life? That they just go brrr? They don't. People communicate like this. Hello, how are you today? I hope everybody's okay. We're doing okay. Bit of a grey day. And there's lots of spaces and things like that. But he would have cut all that together and it would sound like, hello, hope everybody's okay today. We're okay. There's a beautiful grey sky. It's rubbish. It's absolute crap. Please don't do it. Stop editing. We're not television, we're YouTube. That's all it is, YouTube. No need to edit videos. I put some music on sometimes, or I might intersperse a photograph. That's about it. I don't do a lot. I've never done a lot really. I've always maintained a personal thing. Me and you, we're having a chat. I'm looking at you now, and we're just having a chat. You're just listening to me chatting, but I am looking at you. That's what I do. That's my channel. Just a ramble. But it does annoy me that people look off all the time. And I mean, I look around, I'm looking at the sky and everything else. That's quite normal conversation that you might have with somebody. But when you say, hello, how are you? And you're listening and looking at that person. Hello, how are you today? Yeah, blah, blah. That's what people do, and they're just looking over there all the time. All the time. They say, thanks for watching. Well, who are you watching then? That's better. Now you're looking at me. Now you're engaged with me. And as for all the cutting, don't bother. Come on, lighter. Look at this. I never lit it anyway, did I? Sod it. Never mind. So I'm just going to finish my Slurpee and then do a little, what's it, 11:40, do a few jobs that I want to get done, do that washing up, tidy the kitchen, sort out. I want to do a background for a piece of art that is in the back of my mind. Somebody said ages ago, will you ever run out of ideas of what to do with your art? And the honest answer is no. I answered that at the time. I said no. I've got so much in my head, so many little diagrams and shapes and little images, and there's trees that I'd like to do, and there's a wall with green moss that I want to do. You know, there's so much. And when I do a piece of art, more comes in. More and more comes in. So I never, ever run out of ideas. Never. I never sit here with a paintbrush thinking, oh, what should I do? Never. Never done that in my life. I'm kind of blessed in that response, in that way rather, that I've just got so many things that I'd like to put down on canvas. I'm sure I won't complete them in my lifetime. I'm sure I won't, because as I say, when I do a piece of art, I get another one or two or more come flooding in, and they often don't come from anywhere. And the weirdest thing is silliness. I don't know if I've said this in a video or not. This one, we were bimbling around some trees, and I said, come on then, Mr. Longnose, to my dog. And he came up to me. I said, you all right, black and white? Black and white. And I just thought, black and white, silly bloody things, silly names that I call him. And I thought, black and white, bless him. And he answers to it, he comes to it. And I thought, what an unusual colour combination for nature, black and white. And when I thought about it, there's zebras. I think that's the top of my thinking about black and white animals or whatever. But then the more I thought of it, and we were walking through these trees, I thought, oh, pandas are black and white. Skunk is black and white. A cow, a horse, beetles, butterflies, a magpie, snakes. And it went on and on and on, black and white, black and white, black and white. What an unusual colour combination to be out in the wilds, out in nature, is black and white. And yet I couldn't stop thinking on this bimble, couldn't stop thinking of all the insects and birds and animals that are black and white. There are so many. There are loads and loads and loads when you really think it through. And for some reason I just thought about doing a diagram that was black and white. So that painting kind of come from that, kind of. Okay, Svag's not going to play the game, so I'll finish my Slurpee and then make a move. Thank you for watching, and if you got anything out of this video, then great. If you didn't, hard luck. Okay. Take care of yourselves. Have a lovely day, doing whatever you're doing. And try to follow your bliss, much as you can. Be happy. Take care then. I'll be back some other day. Cheers. Be well. Ta-ra.